Hello everyone. Today we shall discuss the story of Tess of the D Arbor village from the chapter 16th, and this is the beginning of the third phase also, the rally. In the beginning of that chapter, we find that Tess left her house for the second time, and she is going to the Dalvita's dairy to do or start a new life there as a milkmaid. It was in the month of May, between 2 and 3 years after the return from Trentridge. So this incident took place after between 2 and 3 years after the return from Trentridge, and the month was May. She took her luggage and she started a journey. She came to Stour Castle. Then, with the help of a man, she reached Weatherbury. At that place, she got down from the carriage from that man and walked for her destination. Though she was not familiar with the path of that region, that's why she took about 2 hours journey to reach Talbot's dairy, and ultimately she reached Talbot's dairy. After reaching the Talbot's dairy, she reached that Talbot's dairy in the evening time. It was about 4:30 in the evening. It was also the milking time in the dairy. So all the men and women of that dairy, they were busy in milking the cows. Tess also reached there. She was welcomed by the owner of Talbot's dairy, Mr. Crick. He was also very happy to have a new hand, because at that time he needed some more persons. He was doubtful about the skill of Tess of milking, and he asked Tess when he would start her work. She replied that immediately she would like to start her work. After taking some milk, he started her job milking the cows and other things. Tess was very happy reaching that Talbot's dairy, and she thought that from here she would be able to start a new life here. There were many cows, and Tess settled down to her cows as their time to talk, no talk in the barton. The cow was on that particular day. Mr. Crick, the owner of the dairy, noticed that the cows were not giving the full milk and someone said that generally it happened whenever a new hand joined or came into the dairy, and because Tess also came as a new person to that dairy, and that's why it happened again. Someone told about that incident that I've been told that it goes up into their horns at such times. It was believed that the milk would go into the horns at such times. That's why they were not yielding the milk. Soon, actually, only when the milking was over, she went to the bed. Actually, all the milkers went to their house. Only three milkmaids were living in the dairy, and Tess was the fourth one. And she had to share her bedroom with those three girls. They were living in it was a room, a long 30, it was a very long room which was above the milk house, and all three girls, now Tess, they were living in that house. The first night, as Tess was very much tired, she had come from a long distance, so she was very tired, and so, she went to the bed, and while she was on her bed, she found that one girl was talking about Angel Clare, and she was talking about Angel Clare, about his parents, about his because he was actually, Angel Clare was not a milkman. He was doing or learning the, actually Angel Clare was on a 6-month apprenticeship at Talbot's dairy. He was preparing for a career in farming either in the colonies, abroad, or at home. He is here, he has come here to learn the farming and the dairy also, and that because he wanted to be do something in the field of agriculture, and that's why he has come. His two other brothers were clergymen. His father also wanted to send him the Cambridge University, but he refused to go there, and he said that he preferred to work for the glory of man, and Angel Clare did not wish to go to the University of Cambridge. Tess was, while the girl who was next to her bed and was talking with her friend about Angel Clare, she was listening to that conversation and she came to know about that person. She also noticed that all the persons, dairyman and women, and Mr. Crick also uh, gave a lot of respect to Angel Clare because he was very educated, learned, and they all addressed him by sir. He was the only person who was addressed by sir by all the person, men and women, and Mr. Crick also. Tess also noticed that all the persons gave a lot of respect and importance to Angel Clare. When she noticed Angel Clare, she felt that she had seen that man somewhere else, but where and when at first she could not remember, but at last she remembered that young man was the same young man who came and danced with all the other girls, not with her at club walking dance some years before. But by the manners of Angel Clare's, she believed that the man was not remembering her, and Angel Clare was also living in the same dairy house, and his quarter was a long room above cheese loft which could be reached by a ladder. He was very actually reserved. He did not talk with any other girls. He did not care about any girls around him. But he he took his meals and breakfast in the dining hall. For some days, for he did not see or recognize Tess. But after some days, one day when he was in the dining hall, he noticed that there was a very sweet voice coming to his ear, and he looked around and he found a new face among the girls. It was Tess. She realized that she was the center of Angel's visual inquiry, and Tess also realized that Angel was looking at her, and she ignored him at that time. But Angel Clare was very much affected by the simplicity and beauty of Tess. But he had selected Tess in preference to other dairy maids. There were so many girls were there, but Angel Clare was very much affected by the freshness, simplicity, and beauty of Tess, and that's why he preferred that girl. The milkman and the milkmaid milked the cows without any preference or choice in the dairy. But it was observed that a certain would yield easily to particular milkmaid or maid, That was the routine in the dairy. Tess also found that 8 out of the 95 cows yielded to her touch easily, yet she endeavored not to make any preferences. Tess also found that there were some, particularly 8 cows out of 95 cows, which yielded easily milk only by the touch of her hand. See, it was very easy to milk those cows. But Tess found that the same cows which yielded easily to her touch always came to her as her share to be milked. And she knew that it could not be a coincidence. Daily, she got those cows which yielded milk easily to her. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. She found that she was getting those cows regularly. She thought that it could not be a coincidence that she was getting all those cows every day. Soon she discovered that Angel Clare arranged all the cows in such a way that she got those cows in her share to be milked. And she cleared to Angel Clare that she has come to know about his arrangement for the cows. Thus, Angel Clare and Tess both were living and working in Talbot's dairy. They both, Tess and Angel Clare, were strangers to each other's secret. They waited to learn about each other in the days to come without making any effort to pry into each other's history. They were brought closer to each other's. Tess had decided to lead a repressed life, yet she did not know the strength of her own vitality. So, both were living and working in Talbot's dairy, and naturally, as the time was passing, they come to know more and more about each other's, and it is quite also natural that they come to know more and more about each other, and they come closer and closer to each other also. So that is the end of the 19th chapter. Thank you.